Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here, coming at you with another video. And in today's video, I'm bringing you a look at the second figure from Bring Arts for Final Fantasy Tactics. And this is Delita Heiral. Some nice art on the back here of the figure, and I love the way that they blended into the actual illustrations of the game. And legal jargon in another language. Delita and the land of Ilias. I love that map. Delita, Final Fantasy Tactics was definitely one of my all-time favorite games from back in the day. And it was really kind of like a Final Fantasy Tactics version of like Game of Thrones, because there was like betrayal and this, that, and the third. And so I didn't know that they made these figures, but I had some Amazon points and I was just scrolling through, and I don't know why I said, oh, let me see if there's any Final Fantasy stuff. And obviously I was expecting to see Final Fantasy like 7 figures and stuff like that, but these came up, this one and Ramza, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know. Like, this, of all the Final Fantasy games, including 7, this Final Fantasy Tactics was my absolute favorite game. And yeah, so I was happy to see that they released the figures. All right, let's open them up and see what we got inside. All right, so here he is out of the box. Delita from Final Fantasy Tactics, and I think this figure looks absolutely stunning. Look at all that he comes with. Really digging it. This is the same kind of stand that they had with the Ramza figure, and I showed you before. It works out really beautifully. And he comes with another little tray of hands here, which is very cool. They're both open hands and 2 fists, and this hand has a little peg in it, and I'll show you why this one has a little peg in it. Look at that. Love the fact that they did the armor detail on there. Oh, popped right off. It's okay, goes right back on, no problem. Great. And then he's got these, he comes with the sword here, which is fantastic, and same kind of sword system as Ramza. You just pull out the handle, slip his sword hand through, and then you put it back. Really nice broadsword that he had in the game. And then he has the broadsword sheathed, and this is very cool. And then this is the peg that goes into this open hand here, so that way he can hold the sheath in his hand. And you can pull this out, it's just the handle, but you can make it look like, you know, as he pulled out the sword, the sheath is empty. Very cool, love that look. And now let's have a look at Delita. And this figure is awesome. Again, looks exactly the way he was in the game. I love the different tones of streaks in the hair there. Really beautifully done. And then the armor here. Beautiful work. The only thing here is that his elbow ball joint doesn't match as well as like Ramza's ball joint. They picked a gold, but it's not the same kind of gold as the rest of it. But really not that big of an issue. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Great detail work. Great way to bring up that painting to life. His belt goes around, and then look at the work here on the top part of his pants there. Very nice. Again, he's got the double ball knee with the armor on the front, so it doesn't really look awkward. Love that. You know, this almost looks to me like what is that? It almost looks to me like a Mythic Legion's armor, right? Doesn't that look very close to the Mythic Legion style armor? Love it. So I think I might be able to put him with the Mythic Legions. Oh, look at that! He has Biceps swivel. Ramza doesn't have that. Oh, but that's really cool. Man, great work on this. And it's such a simple little character, but just bringing up those little stitching and wash really just gives it a lot of life. And he comes with these punching fists on him already. Well, we're going to change that out for his weapon holding hands, and I think that'll make him look awesome. Alright, so just like Ramza, here is the sword holding hand here. Here's the sword. Pop off the handle, then slip it through the hand here until it comes through. You pop the sword back on. And that's it. That's how you get the sword in his hand. So we'll put that on him now. Pop his hand right in there, and that's it. So that's really cool. He's holding his sword there. And now for the other hand, here is the open hand with the peg, and here's the sword sheath. So what you're going to do here is you're going to put the peg into the hand like that, and there you go. Now he's holding the sheath, which is cool, but then you could pop this off, bring him back, put his hand on, and there you go. And now it looks like he just unsheathed his sword. Very cool. I think that looks wonderful. I love it, man. Bring Arts really did an amazing job with this figure. Again, I had no idea these figures even existed, but I am glad to have found them. I got them on Amazon. I had a bunch of Amazon points left over from all of my Christmas shopping. So I was able to get him and Ramza, and I think they look amazing together. Alright, and here he is, like jumping at his enemy with a sword attack. I love that. And his stand holds him really well. I love that. You can do so many like different styles of movement with him. His leg articulation is not as much as Ramza's. Like, you can do a flying kick, but it's not as big as Ramza's kicks. Although, like, you know, you can make it look like that. Really cool. I think that looks amazing. He's an awesome looking figure. Can't wait to put them both together. So let's do some comparisons here. And here he is alongside my Masterverse Blade and Filmation Accurate Martial Bravestar. And yes, you can see he's definitely in this size here. Masterverse is much bigger. But, you know, I know he was in the smaller size. But again, because I'm such a fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, as soon as I saw that he and Ramza were available, I was like, nah, I gotta have them. I don't care how small they are, because they bring up such fond memories for me. So I love it. I think they look really good together, especially next to the Martial Bravestar here. All right, and here he is alongside Sir Gideon and Attila Leos here, a couple of Mythic Legion Knights. And yeah, I think his aesthetic especially works really well with these. He's got that red and gold, so maybe he's part of the army of Leosir. So yeah, I think he looks fantastic alongside these. He's obviously much smaller, so maybe he's a squire. Maybe he could be a squire for Mythic Legions. I think this is nice. All right, here he is alongside Link and Zelda from Jakks Pacific. And as you can see, they line up beautifully together. Jakks Pacific really did an amazing job with these figures. The detail, the paint and everything. And I think Delita and Ramza actually work really well with this series of figures. So I love it. I think they look amazing as a group. And here he is with two other video game protagonists, Varian Wynn from World of Warcraft and Death from Darksiders. Although these are third-party figures, so those are not their official names. He's officially called the Storm King, and he's officially called the Abyss Knight. But these are amazing, amazing figures. And obviously, his paint and sculpt are not on this level, but he is so accurate to the art of the game that it doesn't really matter. I still think he works really, really well with it, simply because, you know, he's a perfect aesthetic for the artwork that he was created from, and so is Varian. So I think him and Ramza also fit within that category because they are so accurate to the artwork. It's really, really beautiful. All right, and here's Delita and Ramza going at each other. I love this. This is great. Their stands, their articulation really just gives you so many possibilities for, like, you know, photography and just allowing you to, like, really put them in dynamic poses. Excuse me. Again, I'm not much for the international figures. But again, Final Fantasy Tactics was just my baby back in the day. I actually liked Final Fantasy Tactics more than any of the Final Fantasies that have come out to date, simply because it just kind of had that Game of Thrones feeling where you didn't know who was betraying who by the end of it. Ramza, like, you know, spoiler alert, Ramza kind of like loses most of his family. Delita actually does lose his family because he was an orphan, and it was just him and his sister was murdered, like, for no reason. It was such a crazy game ahead of its time. Like, it's the one game that I do play at least once a year, simply because of that story arc. And it was definitely not something meant for, I think it was definitely meant for, like, the older crowd, because I know when I was younger, like, it was just kind of like one scene after another of like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it kind of made me like feel like, holy cow, like the good guys don't always win for sure. Although by the end of it, Ramza does have his freedom to live his life the way he wants with his sister. They were able to escape the whole thing. But yeah, it was an amazing game. Alright, so I think this would make for an awesome Final Fantasy style battle scene, because obviously in Final Fantasy you fight monsters like this all the time. This is the Zesray Studios Quesos figures, and I think this looks awesome, having both of them having to team up to deal with him. There is a scene in the game where both of them have to work together to conquer the enemies, so yeah, you could definitely see this as something very similar to that. And amazing work here. Again, Bring Arts with these two figures, their articulation, their paint, their sculpt. You can do so much posing around with them. I love it. I think they look amazing here. And using Quesos as a Final Fantasy style monster, yeah, I think that's beautiful. Alright, so I have them here facing off against each other, and I think that's really cool. The fact that you can use the stand here to have them posed up and facing off against each other, I like that. Making him swing his rapier away, he clanged it. I think that's really awesome. I love this, man. They did fantastic work here. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this look at Final Fantasy Tactics Delita here from Bring Arts. And as you can see, I love them. I'm glad that I can put both of them actually on one stand here like this, which might be something I might do. But this is really cool. Their articulation, the paint, the sculpting that Bring Arts did to make these characters basically jump off the page into 3D form is astounding. I love it. They did such an amazing job here. And again, Final Fantasy Tactics was definitely, of all the Final Fantasy games, is my favorite, simply because it just kind of had that Game of Thrones experience in, you know, a very fun artistic style look. Video game, it was fun, it was challenging, the story was heartbreaking and capturing. of all the Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy Tactic is the one game that I do play every year, simply because of that story arc. That story arc is amazing. Delita loses everything, Ramza loses everything, but by the end of the game, Delita becomes the king of the land, and Ramza frees himself of all of the nonsense with his sister. Him and his sister go on to live free lives. Really nice ending. Delita, though, he wound up with more tragedies, because even though he became the king, he wound up having to kill the queen. That was his wife, simply because she did not trust him because of all the Game of Thrones shenanigans that he was doing. So he's sort of a villain, but not really, because he did do good for the people of the land eventually. Excuse me. Ramza was treated like a heretic, like he did something bad to the church, even though all he was doing was fighting for the people, making sure that the demons didn't take over the land. But amazing video game, and amazing figures here by Bring Art. I love it. I'm really happy. So if you feel that I've earned it, and if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe, drop a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.